Hey guys, it's Fayon here, back with another video on the passive hang today, and I'm going to take you through a very introductory basic spine practice that anyone can give it a go and start reaping the amazing benefits and sensations that when you move your spine starts to unlock. Now, back in the day, I used to be just absolutely obsessed with lifting heavy weights, big heavy squats, big heavy deadlifts, all amazing stuff. Still do some of that still today, but those sort of tools and exercises, you have to really set your structure and your spine in a very specific way. You have to stiffen it up. You have to brace because you're lifting very heavy loads. And I didn't really ever explore and move my spine in all these different articulations and modulations. And once I started exploring that, it started to just unlock a whole new level of just generally feeling good within my body in a day-to-day basis. Now, when you first see this sort of spinal practice, it seems very from maybe like the dancing world. They do a lot of these body rolls and stuff, or even, you might have seen a lot of the spinal wave videos that come from the movement culture a lot as well. But they can be a little bit intimidating because to actually perform like a spinal wave like this, it's quite difficult if you've never moved your spine before. So I'm going to take you guys through these 3 basic universal spine circles, which I think most people can access, which is going to help unlock your upper cervical and neck area, your rib cage, and then finally your lower back and your pelvis and your hips as well. So I really enjoy these ones. Even though I say that these are introductory or basic, I still turn back to them quite regularly if I find that maybe my neck is a little bit aggravated or even my lower back is, then this is something that I still perform and I get a lot of, great rehabilitatory sensations whenever I have some issues. So even if you're a seasoned spinal wave practitioner or you've explored it quite a lot before, maybe you're still going to get something out from this as well. All right, well, I've done enough talking. We're going to get started. So the first spine circle that I'm going to show you, we're going to start from the bottom up, is this pelvis circle. So what I'm going to do from a standing position, just have your feet pointing forwards, shoulder width apart. I'm going to slightly sink down into my hips. So I'm not standing completely upright. I'm just going to soften my knees and then sink down like I'm sitting on a stool. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly just lift my crown of my head, and I'm going to be thinking about really sticking my head into place. So I'm going to be noticing if my head is moving when I'm performing and moving my pelvis. Thinking like almost like someone is holding my head in place here, and then everything underneath the head is going to be moving around it. So with this pelvis circle, basically I'm going to be sunk down into this high stool, head fixed into place, and then I push my pelvis forward, around to the side, back, and then around to the other side, and then forward again. So basically, people might have done this before, like these general hip circles like this. If you've been part of a sports team, absolute classic. These just have a slight few new cues that you might not have experienced before, which is going to help target new areas of tissue and have a little bit more intentionality underneath this normal sort of hip circle to really start unlocking more of the hip structure and the lower back as well. And it really comes from this, so this sinking in, keeping this structure of the head fixed and everything else rotating underneath it. So here I'm performing my circle of the hips, keeping my hip orientation also always facing forward, so my hips aren't rotating so that they're facing this way or rotating so they're facing this way, always facing you guys at the camera. and my head is being completely fixed in space. And when you do this, you might be like, get to this point and be like, oh shit, like can't really push through anymore. So maybe you just need to make a softer, smaller circle. So you can even just start like this, where it's just a small circle as you just try and focus on the specifics that I've told you. And I'm not rising up or sinking down lower at any portion of the movements. I am keeping the same height of my head completely fixed in space as my pelvis rotates underneath it. Then as that gets more and more accessible, you can start making this circle wider and wider until it's as wide as possible. And then as you're getting wider and wider, you want to be thinking like you're cleaning the inside of the cylinder, like you're washing the inside of the cylinder with the front of your, or whatever part of your hip is leading inside this cylinder. So you want to make this cylinder as smooth and as high definition as possible. You don't want any of these movements where you're kind of like coming through and then it's like it glitches and then you miss a portion of the cylinder to wipe and clean. You don't want a little dirty spot. You want to keep it nice and smooth. And normally if you have any glitches, like I can feel here's a little bit of a tight spot, I might just go, okay, maybe I'll just slow it down a little bit. Normally your answer to any unknown bits is, instead of trying to force and just go through it really quickly, just slow it down. Nice. Do it on the side for you guys. So I'm here, I'm sitting down, I'm not leaning forward, not leaning back. I'm just spine nice and upright, and then I'm performing this pelvis circle, trying to do my best keeping the head fixed in space. Obviously go both directions, so around this way and then around the other way. And when performed with these cues, you really feel a lot of nice opening through this lower back, and then also the walls of your outer hips as well really start to be worked and open as well. Just with those simple restrictions, you can get a lot more out of these hip, pelvis, whatever circles you want to call, other than when it's just free like this. And then normally when people are doing this, you can see it's like they might just skip over these uncomfortable parts. We want to get to really, really know those parts instead. So that's the pelvis circle. We're going to move up now the structure to the rib cage. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to fix the pelvis now, and then allow the ribs to move in a circular motion over the pelvis. So then I'm going to push my chest forward, and then once it's forward, I bring it around to the side. So my hips are still fixed here. Then I bring it to the back, to the side, and then forward. So again, if this is strange for you, you can just make it a little circle. And with this, I'm trying to keep my shoulders the same level. So as I come here and then I come here, I'm not drooping down with my shoulders and this other one hiking up and then kind of going like this motion. No, I'm again just in this little almost quarter squat. My shoulders are level, my chest orientation is still facing front to the camera, and then I make a big proud chest. I then try and push it out to the right whilst keeping my pelvis still, but I keep my shoulders in line and then also the chest facing forward. And then I come down into this sunk position here. So like this stuck out chest proud, and then here I'm like hunchback here, but I'm not like this or anything. I'm just trying to push like the back of the opposite place of the sternum back, and then I bring it out to the left, and then I circle the rib cage around. Don't worry about the head so much, just allow that. You can see my head is just staying on top of the ribs as I circle, going back the other way. And again, just try and feel everything like you're wiping the inside of a cylinder, and slowing down if there are any clicky, glitchy parts with the ribs especially. You might notice maybe a few spots which are maybe a little bit tender, a little bit clicky as well. When that happens, you can just reduce the range of motion, go a little bit softer, go a little bit slower, and then see how that feels, and maybe approach it from the different direction. Normally after a while, I really start to feel this open up, and then it feels nice and smooth. So we're learning how to really free the rib cage independent of the pelvis, and you'll feel this midsection working really, really nice. Okay, so that's the rib circle. So once again, like this. We're going to move up to this next circle that I like to perform, which really just opens up all the traps. And it's like if you have any sort of neck aggravations, it's not the ultimate fix, but it's a nice exercise I like to turn to when maybe say some of my scaps or my neck is aggravated. It seems to always, most of the time, really help. So what I'm going to do is we come back into this sunken little quarter squat, and then I'm going to try and keeping my head in the same level. I'm going to bring and tuck in my chin. So you can see it's like this. Once I tuck in the chin, I'm going to look over my left shoulder. So I come over here. I'm then going to look out past my left shoulder, leading with the neck, almost like I'm like, what's over there? Coming out. Then I'm going to scan the horizon around to the other side. So I'm now looking, oh, what's over there, over my right shoulder, and then come back here to the start, and then that's one repetition. So looking over the left shoulder again, scanning the horizon, tucking the chin, coming into this double chin position here. I'm trying to keep my head as well, not from like rising or lowering any more than when I first set it. So if I come over here and I'm not like coming over here or like coming down here and then like this or anything, I come here, I'm going around this other side now, looking over my right shoulder, trying to keep it in the same level that I've set. Coming over to this shoulder and then back again. I'll perform this on the side. With this one as well, you can make the circle as wide as you can manage. And you can also just make it softer, so I can make it just, I come back, look over my shoulder, and then it's just a small circle. When I'm doing here, I'm trying to really push out my head, not just not just my chin. I'm trying to push out my whole head. So try to think about, okay, I'm not just leading with the chin, but maybe leading with the nose. So here. And then as I get more comfortable, I can try and extend, leading with the nose around in a bigger circle, allowing everything under the head just to be soft and just to allow the neck to articulate in this big circle. So I call these like neck around the worlds. Really amazing to perform outside as well, maybe in a forest. You start scanning the whole periphery, you're like, whoa, what's out there, sort of like behind me. And just feels amazing on the neck and then leading through to the spine, especially like this motion and then leading, especially when you're reaching here, you might feel it like, oh, okay, there's a lot of different things happening on the opposite end of the spine, but it's being led through the neck. So those are the 3 basic spine circles, which I think most people can comprehend, understand, give a go without getting too complicated. And we've just started to understand how to move our spine in different ways, from being more pelvis and bottom led to this thoracic area, and starting to free that up and having different degrees of motion, to also the neck, which is normally a very troublesome spot sometimes for people as well. We're starting to really free this neck and then allow that to operate with the whole rest of the spine as well. All feel generally very, very amazing. With these spine circles, you can perform these and practice these on a daily basis without any worry of overdoing it. A good prescription to start off with is 2 minutes each direction of each spine circle. So what is that? 4, 8, 12 minutes a day that you could do for the next 30 days, and then see and feel how that changes your structure. I get so many benefits from this practice. Just makes me feel more connected, but then also generally better through my day-to-day life, whether it just be doing normal things such as picking something up to sitting down as well. I just have more awareness to how I'm placing my spine. So even when I'm sitting down, maybe if I just then move my spine a little bit like this, feels really good. Something I can perform even when I'm doing computer work, and it's like a secret little movement snack tool that you could do in secret without anyone knowing. When you know how to articulate your spine, you can just give yourself these little bouts of relief throughout the day. It's something that I like to sneakily do and always feels amazing. So I hope you guys enjoy these spine circles today. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments box below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, The Passive Hang. And then also, if you have any questions and want to find out a bit more about my approach to movement and what I offer in terms of teaching others, then you can head over to my website. That's at thepassivehang.com. All right, well, also remember, if you really like this video, please feel free to pass it on to a friend and share it with them. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video.